So know right
Okay.
now that if you want to persuade someone to take action, you have to tap into their emotions. And what you are probably going to do just automatically is fear. You're going to say
Mm.
something fearful or shaming, because that's what you've been taught. And that's fine. We're here to do a different way.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Win the Hour, Win the Day. I am your host, Chris Ward. Now, today we have Michele PW in the house, and she is going to talk to us about copywriting. Now, hold on before you switch the channel and go do something else. We all have to do some element of copywriting. So we're not talking about the official funnels copywriting, how to get your message out there in volumes and info products. We're just talking about how to communicate online, to get engagement, to represent yourself. Well, you know what? Let me not tell you. Let Michele tell you, because I'm sure I'm not doing it justice. Michele, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. So I'm excited to be here.
Okay, Michele, we chatted quite some time ago. We talked about writing from a copywriting position, from a position of using love versus fear, because we do all know, we've been trained that fear motivates action. We need emotion. It's a much more powerful indicator to move somebody from A to B, right? So that's the main frame of what's out there now. Tell me why we should be doing that differently. No pressure.
I'm laughing because part of the idea with love is that I'm not really like, this is a choice. It's not so much me telling you what to do. It's me educating you and offering you a different choice. So, because if
Well, and I mean that they know that I'm not trying to bully you, so we could just skip
I
that
know.
part. I'm not. You're not
But
here
it's
to.
lovely.
You're here to share why you think there are other options.
Yes, there are other options. And because the thing is yeah, the whole idea is, it's really just, it's another way to do it, because I know a lot of people, part of the reason how I got into this is because entrepreneurs, I had a lot of coaches and my friends and colleagues that would say to me, Michele, we really hate the traditional way of writing copy because it felt
Mm.
really salesy and inauthentic and arm twisty. And at the time, this was a while ago because I'm old and I've been in this industry for a while. At the time, the only copywriting experts out there were like old, grizzled direct response copywriting men, and their response was, do it. This is what works, and do it. And if you don't want to do it, you don't have a real business. So they didn't really give a good choice.
Right.
So I came around and so they're telling me to do it. And at first I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to do it. There's plenty of good copywriting. But eventually what happened was, I started to realize that there was another way. And it kind of came because I was really trying to figure this out, because I felt that there was a better way to do it. But I couldn't, I didn't really, I felt it, but I didn't really understand how. And then one day in 2013 or 2014, my friend came out with this, like, I guess a director's, like a PDF book called Love-Based Marketing. And I looked at it and I thought love-based copywriting. And then I thought, well, what would be the
Mm.
opposite? Fear-based copywriting. And it was like Zoom. The whole thing just kind of flowed into me. And that's when I realized that, the whole essence of copywriting, and the whole essence of sales too, by the way. So if you don't want to write any copy, you're probably gonna have to do sales calls. So you can take everything I teach here and apply it to sales calls. You can also take everything I teach here and apply it to your kids if you have kids, because quite honestly, you're using a lot of persuasion when you're trying to get your kids to go to bed at a decent bedtime.
Yes, I always tell people who say they're not into sales, I say, listen, everything is sales. Getting your kids to bed on time is sales. You sell all day long. So this is
Exactly.
about getting people to take action, whether it's copy, whether it's sales or
Yes.
whatever. And you're saying the traditional scare tactics is not the only way. So give us an
Yes.
example. Where do we start?
So the idea is, so where you start is, first of all, is you're going to be tapping into love-based emotions versus fear-based emotions. So know right
Okay.
now that if you want to persuade someone to take action, you have to tap into their emotions. And what you are probably going to do just automatically is fear. You're going to say
Mm.
something fearful or shaming, because that's what you've been taught, and that's fine. We're here to do a different way. So in order to start persuading with love, you're going to want to do things a little bit different. And one of the first steps you'll want to do is really get to really know who you're talking to, because the more you can actually speak to the person you're trying to persuade in their language and really hit upon what's keeping them up at night, the easier this is all going to be. Because if you have like, what they call now like a really, really hot offer, because the thing is you can actually take some of these really, really hot offers and just post it on Facebook. Don't get into all the, like all the pain and everything before then, and you'll convert because you've so captured the essence of what people want, the transformation they want. And that's part of how you're getting into the love-based stuff, is you're actually tapping into where, what their dreams are versus, versus the idea of what they're moving away from, the pain part.
Okay. Let me jump in here. So that I make sure I'm getting this correctly. So we work with entrepreneurs. We're all about, helping entrepreneurs stop working so hard. I don't believe in grinding it out. I believe that which does not kill you makes you tired. Right. Okay. So we talk about our win formula, which I believe you should be in. It's 60-40 rule, 60% execution, 40% admin. So if I was coming at from this, there's two options. One of, listen, you're working crazy hours, you're doing all this stuff, whatever, go through the whole scare tactic of this is not the lifestyle they promised you. Do you want to be doing this 2 years from now, only more tired, that traditional scare thing? Or would I be going saying, I guess the other thing is you're sitting around with your family, you're not paying attention, they're talking to you, but underneath that at all, you're still an entrepreneur, your mind's racing, blah, blah, blah. So that could be a scare tactic. Or could I be saying, is the love approach saying, remember that day, that day that you were just relaxed, you were just lounging around, you're with your family, you were just really looking around and enjoying them. What if you could have more days like that? Is that a love approach?
Yes, that's definitely a love approach. And then what you were saying about the pain piece of it earlier, what you said actually wasn't that unlovable either, for lack of a better term, because what I mean by fear really is more like building pictures up. Like you really see this with future spinning and shaming. So if you take that, like your ideal clients are in pain, your clients are in pain, that because they're really struggling. They're working way too many hours and they haven't gotten it together, and they know this, and it is bothering them. So we do want to acknowledge the pain. We just don't want to when it would be turned into pain, when it would be turning into like fear-based marketing, I think, is if you were to say, like the whole cats in the cradle thing, that song where you said, your kids are growing up and you're going to be, you're spending so much time with your business that your kids are going to ignore you and stick you in a nursing home. That kind of fear-based playing into them, that's the problem. But simply acknowledging this, like, there's a better way to live. Right now you might be really struggling, but there's a better way to live. And so it's respectful.
So I'm a nicer person than I realized. So my fear base wasn't that mean.
It is. I know. Well, that's the thing, because a lot of people, they really dig into, because part of, I think, what happened is, like if they weren't getting results, some of the traditional marketers would tell them to really dig in more in the pain. And while that
I hear that a lot. Yeah.
That's where you're going to really turn it into fear-based marketing. But simply acknowledging in a respectful manner their pain is, because then they know that you understand them. It's like, because then otherwise they're not going to know that.
So almost like, don't bully them or don't take it. Yes, we are uncomfortable in this situation, but don't, almost like, when you see those infomercials where whatever, let's say they're selling you a new brush, and all of a sudden they show you the black and white picture of somebody trying to brush their hair with the old brush, and it's painful, and it's just so dramatic, and finally they take the brush and throw it against the wall,
and they're
and they've stuck their head out a window for a half hour, so their hair is all tangled, and you're like going, well, that's a bit dramatic. I've brushed my hair my entire life, and that is never, maybe your brush is better, but I've never been where you're trying to sell me I was, right? So that's the pain thing when they go to that crazy side, right?
Yeah. Or shaming. Shaming is another one that they use. So like shaming, a big one with shame usually happens. And a lot of even really good-hearted people fall into this trap, because I know it's really scary. But like you think you've got your client signed on, and then they email you the next day and say they changed their mind. And so then a lot of times they'll send that shaming emails like, well, if you're really serious about whatever it is you wanted to do, you would hire me in a second. That's also because you're shaming them to say like, well, clearly you're not. You're not taking this seriously, or you'd find the time, or you'd find the money, or successful people always find the time. And that those angles, those are very shaming. And that's another place that this can really show up.
Well, what does that's not going to work anyhow. If they weren't going to pay you before, they're not going to pay you now. What
Some
I,
people, so some people it does work because it depends on what your own wounds are. So if you really are, you can get sucked into it. But I can guarantee anybody that comes to you based on you shame them into coming to you, it's not going to
that's
be
not
fun
fun.
for
No.
either you or them. So
No, no, no. We even had conversations in other shows where I say, like, I'm even a little bit cautious on the follow up. Like, if I have to, like, I really want you to show up ready to play.
exactly.
If I've gotten those emails the odd time where they change your mind, my reply is, when the student is ready, the teacher will come.
Yeah,
I'm like, there
that's
you go. Cause
much.
that's all I can say. I feel like saying, listen, I wasted my time with you yesterday and you made us send you all the paperwork. But I'm like, okay, we got to leave this gracefully. When the student is ready, the teacher will come. Yeah. So
You're very love based. You didn't even know it.
yeah,
So
I am going to start calling people. I had someone this morning that didn't think I was so love based. I'm calling her back.
I would
So,
call her back and see that love based expert said I'm love based.
okay, this is good to know. Okay, so shaming, it's not a matter of don't use it because it doesn't work, but also be mindful when you don't realize you're using it, right? You think you're using
Yeah,
a
you fall
tactic.
into unconscious because if you're really stuck in, and I get it, if you're stuck in scarcity, you're afraid you can't
Mm,
pay the mortgage. I understand why you go in there, but that's when you have to be, that's when you really have to stand firm because the more you
yeah.
suck into that, anytime you bring in money with that kind of emotion, I mean, you're also bringing in the emotion with it. So you're going to just, so even if you get that short term hit, it's just,
You pay for it.
yeah, a
Yeah.
few months
Yeah.
later, you're going to start to think maybe this client wasn't worth it after all. So,
100%. Okay, so tell us, we've got things that we don't know, we don't know. So we get started. I don't even remember. Did we get started? Did you tell us how to
well,
get
yeah, so
started?
I did, but I didn't go into it as much. So, with your ideal clients, oh, and I want to actually before if I could, I'd like to do an example of
Sure.
how to do the shame. How not, I mean, what you did is fine when the teacher comes, but I can also share another example of
Sure.
how to do this without using shame. So,
Okay.
this is a real life example because it was a couple of clients of mine years ago, and they had this. They had a mastermind that was kind of about making a quantum leap, and what they had in their FAQ, which was like, what if I don't have the time? And instead of going into the, well, you're not serious. They didn't do that. They said, you know what? When you're going to have a quantum leap, there's going to be, when you're really trying to step into this big, you're going to have breakdowns. There's going to be times where things are just not going to work because that's part of the process. And you might be in a place where you can't have the breakdowns. Maybe you've got a sick parent to take care of, or a child that's getting ready for school or whatever, and that's okay. If that's not you this year, then don't worry about it. Where we can hug and be friends, and I'll move on. But if you're ready to do whatever it
Mm,
takes to have this quantum leap, then come on board, and then let's buckle up, let's do it. So
okay.
see how the energy with that, so you can
Mm.
still address it, but you've just shifted the energy, which is like, because it's just acknowledging that your clients are adults and are not children that you need to manipulate into coming, being your client.
That's a really good point. No, and what it reminds me of is I'm not, I had to learn, I'm not always the world's best person at asking for favors, but I've had to learn. So if I was asking somebody for something, I always like to give them a way out.
Yeah,
So here, you know what? I was wondering if you could help me with this, but if you can't, like whatever, I've got a plan B. Like
yeah,
this might be a better approach, but so I think it reminds me of that where, look, give them the grace to have an exit and not feel cornered, because then if they step forward and engage with you and become your client, it's going to be with a different energy, and you're just going to win all around.
exactly, because now you're going to
Okay.
have a more committed client, because why on earth you want to work with somebody who isn't committed to you?
No, no, or
Because you're
stressed, or you drug in, like,
stressed, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because they're
No, I
not
agree
gonna
with
do the
that.
work. You're gonna be chasing them, and then they might, after all that, ask for their money back anyway. So,
Yeah,
or
that's a rookie mistake. You do that in the beginning years, and you realize, I think I'm paying them to work for them. So, and I also think then you have the opportunity for them to come back because you treated
yes,
them with grace, right?
exactly.
Okay. So that's okay. That's a good example. Continue.
Okay. So, well, now that we can go back to what you had asked for, which is how to get started. So but I
Okay.
just wanted to slip that in there because I think that's just really
Sure.
important to hear the positive way to do it. So,
Yeah.
getting started in order to really be able to, um, being very specific is your friend. So the more so I really want you to, get very, very, very clear on your ideal client. I mean, super clear, which is, really know exactly who they are and what is motivating them, what their dreams are, their desires are. And because the more you know what's motivated them, the more you can actually speak into what's motivating them versus like kind of like a nebulous, they want more money, they want more clients, they want, that's very broad and can apply to pretty much everybody. So the more, but your clients aren't, I realize maybe you could help everybody, but you're not going to help everybody because not
No.
everybody is going to say yes. So the more you can drill down and get really, really specific. So one exercise that I would encourage is for you to think to yourself, who is my ideal client and why? And the why part is really important, and write it down if you can, because the why is going to make it really clear why you want to do this. And then what's motivating you, what you want to see in future ideal clients. And then the second thing is what's keeping them up at night, because part of what I like to do with I guess when you touch on the pain part of the whole thing is if the more you can get really clear on because again, they are in pain. If the pain is real, to not talk about the pain is just spiritual bypassing. So you want to, but in order to know what it is, you have to really know what it is, what specifically it is. And also the more you can get into their mindset or their language, I mean, because if you're speaking in their language, they're going to recognize themselves. One of the biggest mistakes I see make is people try to market up, use cute marketing language for everything, because then your ideal clients don't even recognize what you're talking about. And so they have no idea that you're actually talking to them. So the more you can actually get into their language and really feel their energy, the easier this is all going to be, because then you can tailor your specific offer to their problem. And that right there is where the magic happens. That's where you get a really strong, hot offer, because you've tailored your offer to precisely what's keeping them up at night.
Okay. So, and I think what happens, what you're saying then, if you were really in tune with that, then you maybe don't naturally default to the fear-based language, because
Yes.
so for me, my
Because
ideal.
you don't know how to market. That's really what it is, because you don't know what to say. So then you go into, because it's an unconscious thing. So then we go back into
Right.
like like just kind of shaming or using fear,
So a
because you're
little bit,
trying to
and then you start pushing instead of pulling. So
exactly.
for me, like, I'm so passionate about what I do, because so many of my clients, what they are is they look good on paper. They may have a podcast or a book, or they've been in business 5, 6, 7, whatever years, at least those amount of years. And, they're, oh, I should be grateful. I'm making money and doing all this stuff, but they're still working way too many hours, right? They still got bloody knuckles. They're still grinding it out and thinking, once I get past this next thing, right? And, oh, I just have to come in, Saturday mornings, I just have to catch up my emails, and Sunday afternoons, I just have to go in and get ready for Monday, right? This whole thing. And what I find so saddening and painful is they are isolated. They think that, oh, because they are often the go-to person in their family, they do get stuff done. They're highly efficient, but they think, well, there's just more to do than can be done, because I keep thinking, once I climb over this next mountain, if things will be different. So that's the thing. These are the people I'm speaking to, because they're alone late at night, hovered over a computer thinking, I promise next week will be different, like an addict. So if I speak to that and relate with them, then I don't need to be pushy and aggressive and make it fear-based, because the reality they're living has got enough fear in it.
Exactly.
I could sort of pull them out of their dark spot with some warmth.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So then, because you know exactly what they're doing, so then you can speak to the solution more, like that hot offer, which is, what if you're living a business where you get it all done in, 30 or even just 40 hours a week, you just work normal business and you're done and everything is done and you're making money and you don't have to do all these late nights and weekend catch-ups.
Oh, spectacular. Okay. This is making sense to me. All right. So what are some other things that you see we're sort of sloppy with out there?
And I think just always the go-to is money. So I think, because like even what you're just talking about, you're working with entrepreneurs, but you're not, the focus isn't, I mean, it is money, it's kind of hovering there, but it's not, it's lifestyle. And so really, money does motivate people. So I don't want to say it doesn't. Some people like the billionaire class, they're very motivated by making more money. But a lot of people are not motivated.
That was me. I just knocked a whole thing over, everybody.
Oh,
hold on.
I
don't even know if we can take that out. We might try. Hold on. Let's start. We're gonna do a break. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna stop there. That was me. Hold on. 329. Okay, that's my question. So let me re-ask that. So what's another thing that you see out there that's being done in a sloppy effort?
So one thing is the go-to being money. And, money is not like even what you're just talking about, like you're working with entrepreneurs. So, some well-meaning marketing person might have come to you and say, oh, just focus on money. But the thing is that you're not focusing on money, and what you're doing is just so much better because you're focusing on lifestyle, and money is there and money is important. And yes, that's going to come up because obviously the more efficient they get, chances are their income is going to go up, but that's not the main focus. The main focus is the lifestyle piece of it. So, and there are people who are motivated by just making money, like our billionaire class, but not everybody is motivated just by making more money or winning the game. Most of the time, people are motivated to make money because of what money is going to buy them. So money itself is not the end result, it's what they're going to buy them. So that's why getting to know what is really motivating your client is so powerful, because maybe their children are everything. So they want to make more money to send their kids to private school or to take summers off and go to, like, I've got one of my friends, good entrepreneur friends, she structured her business so every summer she's off and she goes up to a cabin and they spend a summer, they spend like a month or 2 months at a cabin by the lake. So, but she's got to make money during the year in order to pay for that. So that's what you want to really, that's why getting to know them is so important, because just this, default, oh, money, just focus on money. It's like, yes, but not really, because it's not really, a lot of people, it's more than are not, I don't think are motivated by money, because the people who are motivated by money aren't like in these things trying to figure out how to make more money, because they are making more money, because that's their motivation. They probably have other problems, but making money is not the problem. It's
because it's a good point. Because in the beginning, I would say, get more done, like work less and make more money. But yes, you really will make more money when you work less, because now you're not putting, at the end of the day, you're putting in so many hours. The Walmart greeter is making as much money as you. But the reality is, on paper, they look like my clients look like they're making good money until you add the hours factor. But again, what they really want is, I have them coming to me saying like, yeah, I got to stop neglecting my husband. He's been really good for these last 10 years, but I'm running out of excuses, or I am missing time with my family, or I've put on weight because I stopped exercising.
Yes, that's a big one too. Yeah,
lifestyle is eroded, right? So that's a really good point. It's really easy when we're always told money and sex sells, but that's not their biggest complaint.
No, it really isn't. It's just, it's like a surface complaint. It's something because it's only when you start to talk the deeper that you start to realize that money is, it's interesting, because money can fix a lot of things, but money, and like I said, I don't know this for certain, but I'm really convinced that it's really a very, very small percentage of the population that's motivated purely, like the McDuck, like the dad, the uncle. With all the gold that he liked to swim around. And so, that that is like somebody motivated by money. But really,
well, that does lend itself, Michelle, to the whole argument. Like, I know there's studies after study after study about workplace satisfaction when you're an employee, when you feel valued and people are very loyal. I mean, I've got a fantastic team, and we just did their reviews, and my gosh, if I ever get an award, all of them are going to accept it for me, because I'm not nearly the glowing person that they say I am. But one of the things that they mentioned, and they pretty much said they'd never leave me, was, we have processes and super toolkits, and we have a thing for how everything gets done here, so that you can keep your mind free and move on to the next thing. So when we have these things in play, and we get a new client, I say in there, oh my gosh, look, our machine works. This is what Kazel did. And because she did this, we did this outreach and now we've got this new client. Thanks team. We got another new client. So I'm thanking them because it's the things in play that we do consistently that brings in this business. And they went on and on about how they've never been anywhere before where they were given credit for those kind of things and how valued they feel and feel like they're building something, and that's just like, that's not about the money. They didn't mention the money at all. Not once.
I know. Yeah. When they do that workplace, I know, isn't it like money is third or fourth, like, paying them a raise. They want to just feel valued and like they're contributing to something bigger than themselves. And that's really that's a big motivation for employees. And it's I mean, we try to do that too with our team too, who's been with us forever. And because they're and get to kind of hear what their love language is without asking them and sounding really, really, really weird. and then give me
before you pulled into a HR of another company. Yes. I don't know how she misunderstood that. I was just looking for love language, right?
It's just how to make it sound.
Yes. Okay. We have a few minutes left. Michele, tell us the one last thing that we should be mindful of as we wrap up here.
And then the last thing is really just your mindset. And I mean, and this is all kind of stuff that we touched upon. And because I will say that trying to make the shift, and be patient with yourself. So this is all kind of part of it, is that this is not easy because this is a lot of unconscious behaviors. And this is going to be very stressful the first 100 times.
Like the song goes, love hurts.
Yeah. So, because the thing is, you're going to want, part of why this fear-based thing works is because like when you send that shaming message to your client, you're releasing some of the pressure on yourself. So you probably feel better doing that. But the thing is that you might feel worse later when you think about it, but you feel better in the moment. It's kind of like if you're an alcoholic, the first, you're drinking a lot. And then the next, at the time you feel that, it's taking the pressure up, but then the next morning you're feeling a lot of, you're hungover and you're regretful. Or
that cookie. I always say people,
cookie.
I never judge somebody with addictions. Cause if it was like, you shouldn't have that second cookie, I'd be in prison. Right.
I know. Yeah, it is. And that's, sugar is too. It's like, we've all done it. We've all like, and then you feel bad. So if you look at your patterns of behavior, anything that you do, and then you feel bad about it later is probably something you really have to stop yourself from doing initially. And it's going to feel crappy when you do that. I'm going to tell you right now, but you just have to sit and you have to breathe into that emotion and you have to let it pass. And I guarantee you it will pass. Once it passes, it's going to be easier to do this in the future. And it's going to be easier to keep yourself from lashing out kind of unconsciously or reacting without you being able to think. Because another issue is like, we allow our emotions to control our actions. And if we want to stop doing that, we have to make a conscious effort to not react and just let the emotion move through us. And then at that point, we're going to be calmer, and then we're going to be able to make proper, proper decisions and take the right action.
Yes. My mother used to say when I was really young, she'd say, when you think you're really, really, really right, call 3 people before you do that.
Good point. I know. Because after you get to the third person, you're like, oh, man,
I don't need to listen, right? Listen to me. What happened? She'd say, call 3 people. Okay, Michele, you're awesome. Where can people find more of your brilliance?
So they can go to michelepw.com. That's got a link to all my different websites because I've got a lot of like Umbrella site. And then also I do have a couple of love-based copywriting books out. They're on Kindle and paperback and even audio actually. So and you can find those at lovebasedbusiness.com or just search on Amazon or Kobo or wherever or Barnes and Noble.
She's out there. That's what she's saying. She's spreading the love. She is out there.
Yeah.
All right, Michele, you are awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and everyone else. We will see you in the next episode.